Alright, today we're going to talk about special right triangles. In an isosceles right triangle, all of the parts are proportional to the triangle pictured below. We call these 45, 45, 90 triangles. So you will want to know this picture so that you can draw it whenever you're solving 45, 45, 90 triangles. So, using our picture, we're going to set up a proportion. So for example, a side, so 1 over n, is equal to the other side, 1 over 7. Then we just cross multiply. 1 times 7 is 7, n times 1 is n, so n has to equal 7. Now I'm going to set up another proportion. I use the 1 over 7 again, so a side over the other side is equal to the hypotenuse over the hypotenuse, so square root of 2 over m. Then I cross multiply, and 7 square root 2 is equal to m. And that one is done. In example 2, again, we're always going to set up a proportion and then cross multiply and solve. So, here I have the square root of 2, which is the hypotenuse of the original, over 9 square root 2, which is the hypotenuse of our new triangle, over the side of the original, so 1, over the side of the new triangle, which is v. So I cross multiply, and I get square root of 2v is equal to 9 square root 2. So I want to divide both sides by the square root of 2, and when I do that, the square roots of 2 cancel, and I get v equals 9. Now one thing that's cool about a 45, 45, 90 is that the sides are equal to each other. So what that means is that v is equal to u as well, so that means that u is also 9. So you can do that one without showing any work. Let's do another one. So 5, the hypotenuse of the new one, over square root 2, the original hypotenuse, over the side a, or is equal to the side a over the side of the original 1. I cross multiply, so square root of 2a is equal to 5, so I have to divide both sides by the square root of 2. When I do that, this one cancels, but here I'm left with 5 over the square root of 2. And I can't have a square root of 2 on the bottom, so I have to multiply both the top and the bottom by the square root of 2 over the square root of 2. When I do that, I get 5 square root of 2 divided by 2. And once again, the sides of a 45, 45, 90, or the legs of a 45, 45, 90 triangle are equal, so A is 5 root 2 over 2, and so is B. Now let's talk about a different one. This one is called a 30, 60, 90 triangle. And they are all going to be proportional to this picture, where the short side is 1, the short leg is 1, the long leg is square root of 3, and the hypotenuse is 2. We can set up all our proportions from that. So here, I'm going to set up a proportion, so 3, the short leg of the new one, over 1, the short leg of the original, is equal to u, the hypotenuse of the new, over 2, the hypotenuse of the original. I cross multiply, and u is equal to 6. Now I have to set up another proportion for v. So I use that 3 over 1 again, and I said v, the long leg, over square root of 3, the other long leg. I cross multiply, and v is equal to 3 square root of 3. So for example 5, we're going to set up a proportion just like always. So 2 is the hypotenuse of the original over 36, the hypotenuse of the new, is equal to 1, the short leg of the original, over m, the short leg of the new triangle. I cross multiply, and I get 2m equals 36. I divide by 2, and m equals 18. I need to set up another proportion, so I'm going to use this 2 over 36 again, and then I'm going to do the long legs, so square root of 3 over n. I cross multiply, and 2n is equal to 36 square root 3. So I divide by 2, and I get 18 square root 3. Let's do another example. Set up your proportion. So short leg of the new over the short leg of the original is n over 1. The long leg, 2 root 3 over long leg of the original, root 3. I cross multiply. Square root 3 n is equal to 2 square root 3. When I divide both sides by the square root of 3, I just get n equals 2. I got to set up a proportion again, so this time I did long leg of new over hypotenuse of the new over the hypotenuse of the original is equal to long leg of new over long leg of the original. I cross multiply, and I divide by the square root of 3, and so m is just equal to 4. Here's our last example. Set up a proportion. 14, which is the long leg of the new over the square root of 3, long leg of the original, is equal to n, the short leg of the new, over short leg of the original, 1, cross multiply. You get square root of 3n is equal to 14. I have to divide both sides by the square root of 3. I can't keep that square root of 3 on the bottom, so I have to, even though this one cancels, I have to multiply this one by the square root of 3 over the square root of 3, which gives me n is equal to 14 square root of 3 divided by 3. I set up another proportion for m, so I keep that 14 over root 3 is equal to m, which is the hypotenuse, over 2, the other hypotenuse. Cross multiply, and I get square root of 3m is equal to 28. I divide by the square root of 3. And though it cancels on the left, I have to multiply by it on the right, which gives me 28 root 3 divided by 3. Let's practice.